Welcome to Agriculture Science 465, a class taught at Montana State University by Florence Dunkel. This class is about exploring causes and solutions to rural poverty holistically by discovering interactions between health, agriculture, and governance. Florence started off the first class with an introduction to the books we would be reading. Then she launched straight into Savory and Butterfield's holistic management.
And so what Savory and Butterfield suggested, and what we try to do literally during the semester, you're going to be graded on how well you're able to do this, is we listen, okay? The problem here resides, or an issue, or a desire, might be any of those. It resides in a community. It could reside with a family or with a person, but in this case we're going to be looking at a community, or we're going to be working with a community. It could be just a grand extended family too. And so we're going to wait, we're going to listen, and we're going to wait for some messages that come from this community that tells us we might be sitting here or there or up there. We're going to wait, and we're going to listen, and we're going to wait till we hear what they would like. And there's a specific process for this whole thing to go on. And you're going to find that if you think about yourself, you know that you have a certain quality of life that you would explain to someone else. To me, this is my quality of life. I want to have this, and I want to have this, and it encompasses all of your life, not just your grades for the semester, not just your where you're going to be exercising, or who you're going to see, or what kind of social actions you're going to have. This is your quality of life statement. And then you're going to be thinking about the kinds of resources you need to get there. And those are current resources. And then what kinds of tools you're going to need to make sure that those resources are something that you have. And then maybe we should give examples. Help me out with an example, Kelly.
Okay, so you have a ranch, and it was given to you recently by Jeff and Pam, and they want you to keep running it, but what you have is a land that's slightly degraded, and you have knowledge of a culture that has traditional ecological knowledge that could benefit you and your ranch, and you can run it sustainably versus the alternative of selling or degrading it more. So where your resources are, the culture, your tools of what you've had from previously, and then your actions that will take place.
Right, and then all the time you have to realize what do you want? Do you want more time? Do you want some free time? Do you want some time with your family, your friends? Or do you want to keep that ranch pristine? Do you want a pristine area? What is it? Okay? And then the most difficult one is the future. What kinds of future resources are you going to need to keep your quality of life long term? That's where the sustainability part comes. When we don't approach ourselves or a community with this holistic process, we found, and you can find lots and lots of examples yourself that I don't even know about, where those things, that money, all that time spent, all that energy falls into a gap. It falls into a large gap. And there's also, between it, in that gap, there's a lot of misunderstanding that goes on. Sometimes, on one side, there's a community that may understand a different way of thinking, not necessarily Western science, but may understand the importance of traditional ecological knowledge. And on the other side of the gap may be a community that wants to do good or help or has technical knowledge that they know will make things sustainable for this part of the world or this community in the United States. And there's two different languages that are spoken. One might be a technologically rich language, and the other one might be rich in traditional wisdom, and it's not understood. Okay, this is a course on health and agriculture, so we're going to have food. We're going to talk about food a lot. We're going to talk a lot about health and health issues like malaria, diabetes, kwashiorkor, a whole number of other situations related to that, whatever comes up, actually. And we're fundamentally talking about situations that we would call poverty. And so maybe in just a few minutes we can gather a few of our thoughts on what is it. When we use the word poverty, we're going to talk about it often, but we're also going to talk a lot about traditional wealth. Poverty, what is poverty? Mallory, to start us off.
A lack of resources.
Anna.
Yeah, I would say representation with the, whoever governs that group.
Okay. Okay. Okay, all right, good. Anybody else want to throw another thing out from over here? We're going to be visiting and looking in places that some of us would say are communities where there is a lot of poverty. What do we mean by that? And we're also going to be in situations where there is a lot of poverty, but it's not very visible. How would we explain that?
I don't know.
Okay,
I have no
just to
idea.
help you, okay, just to help you out, one of your mentors who you'll be seeing in, we'll be introducing you to in the second half of this session today. When she comes and stays at her house or visits us, she says, oh, you know, I feel so sorry for you, Florence and Bob. This is my husband too, by the way, Robert. She says, oh, Bob and Florence, you know, you really are poor, and I'm so sorry. And I don't know, I can't do anything about it, but I just feel for you. And it wouldn't seem so. You know, we don't have a lot of money, but it wasn't about money. Do you have any idea what it might have been about?
Like the resources that are available to you, or
No,
the
we're
way.
pretty good. We have a lot of friends. We have one vehicle now. We had two.
We have a res car.
One 1975 car.
I don't know.
Well, it isn't about, yes, Chris.
Immediate family, like kids.
Yeah, we don't cry so much about it anymore, but I can tell you, I used to cry all summer long. Yeah. To be separated from your family is awful. Yeah. Okay, so we both are, yeah. Yeah, long ways away, 18 hours or 12 hours away by car, and of course our car won't even get us there. Okay, so that's the kind of poverty we're looking at. We're looking at all kinds of poverty. I'll introduce the film when I get here, when you get back. The food is something we're going to have every time. It is going to be related to what we're talking about. Okay, it's today. It's related to let's see, our It's a venison stew and organically produced potatoes from our farm. Maybe Bob is the farmer. And what else? Oh, and cornbread. And the cornbread is actually containing the most important grain for the people of Sonambale, Maui. We have one of those. It's the main grain of their diet. Kelly, do you remember?
Really?
Millet, yes, it's millet. It's not been processed like the women in Sonambale, Maui do it all over Maui. So you have to crunch on it. And what else? And I think we're going to have some cashews, which are also a good nutritious source for that village. Okay, so, oh, and Jack, I think, are you going to be making some peppermint tea over here?
Okay, yeah, as you said, my name is Jason. I'll go up here, I'm going to hand out for you guys. From the Wind River Indian Reservation in Wyoming. It's home to the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho tribes. And I guess let me start out by saying that I took a trip to Africa when I graduated high school and got to witness things there that changed my life up until now. When I got back, I've been in school for a while, and I really wanted to carry on with a project that my father was working on as a fish and wildlife biologist. One of his last efforts was to reintroduce buffalo back to our reservation, and he was unsuccessful at that. Partly because of our own tribal leadership, partly because it's in the state of Wyoming, partly because of all of the issues surrounding what we see with buffalo today with disease and brucellosis, and really not allow the public not allowing them to exist anywhere other than say places like Yellowstone. And so that, as well as a water rights issue that we deal with at Wind River, really drove me to get my education. And the water rights case that you're going to become familiar with in this reading, and as well with what we're doing next week, will help to maybe set the stage for understanding the importance of the holistic process and using that model in management of our resources.
Once again, my name is Kelly Crawford. I'm a Blackfeet, and my family reside on the Blackfeet Reservation, which is the northeastern part of Montana, or northwestern, excuse me. And if you've ever been to Glacier, you'll see that like we live on the Rocky Mountain Front, which is amazing. But this small town that I'm from has no governance in the town itself. It's 30 miles to Browning. And that's where, city ordinance and all that takes place. And so we have a major municipal solid waste problem. So there's trash strewn everywhere. And that's due to the physical part of where we live. It's quite windy, and the containers aren't supportive of that physical attribute of the area. And so what I'm working on is trying to find a problem, or trying to fix this situation.
I'm Jack, and I worked with the community in Mali, and I guess as a multicultural global studies major, I didn't have a background to work with the dietary problems that are going on there. And so it was kind of at a loss at first, and then I had this, I don't know, I was considering depression in what we would, I guess, call the developed world, the Western world, and comparing that with specifically postpartum rates in low-income countries, isolated villages, and isolated, in a sense of isolated from Western culture. So they still have all their traditional cultural practices, and what I found was that as a result of like the tightly knit social structure in these villages, there is no depression. Everyone takes care of each other, specifically pre and post birth. The community and extended family come together in a pretty pretty special way all over the world.